Okay, so you're going to open up Activity 621, 8-page layout, and you are going to be on the home page, or at least the cover page, and we've already got our color theme from the previous activity. So we're looking at gradients now. So you should have already done the active learning, so you should know what gradients are and how to create them. So we're going to get a bit of practice here. So I'm just going to make sure that I reset my advanced workspace so that everything is here that I need, and I'm going to go to my gradient panel. Now, one of the issues I have here is that I need to see my swatches and my gradient panel at the same time, and unfortunately by default they're docked in the same palette here, which means that I can only see one at a time. So I'm going to take the gradient panel and I'm just going to drag it out like that, and I'm going to take the swatches panel and I'm going to drag that out and dock it above. In fact, I'm just going to pop it there and take the gradient panel. Let's see if I can just dock that in there like that. Alright, so that they both are together. You need to be able to see them both. So I've got the default gradient settings down here. Now you don't want anything selected, because as you change the gradients, it's going to apply it to whatever is selected. So nothing selected. We're going to make our first gradient. So I'm going to click down here on the gradient ramp, and it brings up these little color stops. So I'm going to take the darker tan color and I'm going to drag it down to the far left. Okay, and then I'm going to take the lighter tan color and drag it down to the far right. I'm just going to drag this black off, so drag it down. Any other ones drag off, so that you just go from the darker tan to the lighter tan. So that's a gradient that I want to now save. So I'm going to drag from this color swatch up here into my swatches panel, into that color theme, and then I'm going to double click on it and I'm just going to call it tan gradient. Okay, and then I'm going to make one other gradient. I'm going to take this Caribbean blue and I'm going to drag that down, and then on this side I'm going to drag that, I'll leave that there for the time being. I'm going to take this light green, drag it down here, take this color off and take the light green all the way to the end. So this one goes from the Caribbean blue to the lighter green color. So let's add that gradient as well. Alright, and let's double click on it and we'll call this blue-green gradient. Okay, so we've got two gradients now. Now let's go and apply them. So I'm not going to go overboard with gradients. What you want to try and avoid is too much in the way of gradients. It really is an indicator of someone who hasn't kind of thought very carefully about it, because an abundance of gradients kind of makes your work look quite amateur. So we're just going to use it very subtly here. So I'm going to take this little call to action and I'm going to apply the tan gradient as a fill to the container, and I want it to go from top to bottom. So I'm going to go to my gradient tool and I'm just going to drag from the top to the bottom, holding shift so that it's in a perfectly vertical line. Okay, and then I want to change that text to white, so I'm going to switch to my type, fill, and then paper. Okay, so that's the gradient that I'm using on the cover. I'm not doing anything else with gradients, and then I'm going to move to page 4, and this intro here, I'm going to apply the blue-green gradient. And again, let's just zoom in a bit here. Again, I'm going to take the gradient tool and I'm going to drag from top to bottom. And in fact, I want it to be a little bit more green than blue. So in my gradient panel here, I'm going to drag that mid-stop at the top. I need to go there. I need to drag that mid-stop over so that I get more green. Okay, maybe too much there, a little bit less. Okay, that's better. Alright, so that's all that I'm doing on this page, and then on the back page I just want to press W so I can see my columns, and I'm going to take this text frame, and with my selection tool I'm just going to make it a little bit narrower here to make some space. I'm going to take my rectangle tool and I'm going to draw a rectangle inside that second column like that, and I've already got that blue-green gradient applied. So I can use my gradient tool to change the direction, or I can actually type in here 90 degrees and then reverse, so that the blue is at the top and the green is at the bottom. Now this is way too strong, so I'm going to go up to my opacity setting here and I'm going to take that down to 50%. So if I click away and press W, okay, that's my back page starting to come together. So that's all I'm doing in terms of gradients. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel and see you next time.